Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Pots and Pans Network brings to you its tag team champions of the world, the Potsy and Tino Show. That's right, you've got Tino Gray over there making weird faces. You've got me over here sitting here saying the lines. Our theme song is always brought to you by Adam's House Cats, called The Wrestling Song. It's available on iTunes for 99 cents, and we did not play it tonight. What?
I said wrestling. I was making, you're talking, I was doing the hand gestures for you. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but you're so like closed in on your screen that you can't see the hand gestures.
You see this one?
Yeah, it looked like you were picking your nose.
How's that?
I always like the one that's got like the handlebar.
I used to do this when I was younger. I'm like, what? All your fingers down you to you.
like this. Make it as small as possible. That way you can turn that sumbitch sideways and stick it up someone's candy ass. So, Tino, we always start with the segment, and I'm going to go ahead and bring that segment up. We don't have anybody in the audience just yet, it doesn't look like, but hopefully they will be joining us shortly.
I think because we started. Well, no.
We started right on time.
Yeah. What's up with you?
Yeah. So I'll let you go ahead and start. What's up with you?
Let's see. What did we have last week? Last Tuesday was Nicole's birthday party. Nicole's birthday, so we took her out and had dinner, spoiled her, things like that. And then that's about it. Friday we chilled. Saturday I had the show. I had a show in Clayton, and I was outside. And I hate pollen, and so all week that it's been affecting, my sinuses and things like that. Well, I got to play outside Saturday, which did not work well for my voice. Did not work well for anything. I couldn't breathe. I was raspy and hoarse. I'm sure I sounded terrible, but Tip Bucket, everybody said it was good. I thought it sounded terrible. And at one point,
it was the first time they heard live music in like a year. So,
but we were outside, so it was hot because it was Saturday afternoon. But then this breeze came through, and everybody was like, "Oh, this cool breeze." I'm like, "No cool breeze," because I'm under like the front. I was at that place that you went before, so I was outside on the front porch. So when that breeze came through, it kicked up all the pollen and flew in my face. So yeah, that made it even more. That was the most torturous 3 hours, I think. I was so glad to have that show be over, and that's why I got done. It started raining, so I got done a little bit early, not too much, not too early, and I was able to come home and just shower and just wash all that pollen off and try. I was like, not to be gross, but you're coughing and you just getting along, you spitting loogies, and it was like yellow because of the pollen.
Oh yeah,
that was like terrible. It's terrible. And then I took a shower and then rolled over to your house and we watched the first night of Wrestlemania.
We did. So that's all that happened this week, huh?
I'm trying to think. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And Haley came home Tuesday for Mom's birthday, and she drove back. And so pretty uneventful. It's like that now. I think as we open back up here, and we're in, as we're saying, I don't know where everybody's watching from. We're in the Raleigh Durham. So we're in North Carolina. So I think as things open up, my shows may pick up. So it may get a little more exciting. But until then, it's just kind of hanging with the fam. And I'm don't get me wrong, dude. I'm loving all this time I get to just chill and hang out with the fam and, play with Matthew and just hang out with Cole. Cause I'm a homebody naturally. So if I don't have to play a show and have to go anywhere, I'd rather just sit here or do stuff with the family.
Yeah, it is amazing at how much the two of us like to just be in our home element, and how much we
going to karaoke. Remember, we're out. We're going to karaoke. We're out every night. And now, man, I'll be 48 in July. I'm like, dude, I'd rather stay home. I put it to you like this: if I'm not working or playing a show, the only other place I go is if I go to your house to do a show. I'm like, dude, I'm more than happy. I got this big 60-inch TV here, so I'm like, I'm not going anywhere.
Now, see, I still like to go out. I still like to do that, but it amazes me that even when I go out now, like I just set up, like a camera to sit there and videotape me like drawing, because for whatever reason I don't like drawing at home. I like drawing while I'm out.
Okay, so when we say go, when I say go, I'm thinking like going club and like, okay, so if we go out, like if I meet you at Ruckus, I'm cool with that. If we go to Ruckus or if we go, but I'm talking about going out partying and dancing.
Yeah.
And
but what amazes me about it is like how antisocial we can allow ourselves to be and how happy we are in that element. And then when you have to be social, how you can turn it on.
And that's the thing. Like when McCall and I first started dating, she met me at the original Ruckus. That's where Chris Overstreet and I started playing secondhand flapjack played. And she, for the longest time, never believed. I told her, I'm a naturally mellow, just laid back. I don't, if I know you, I'll talk to you, but for the most part, I'm like, and I'm friendly. But she's like, no, you're not. I'm like, I'm almost shy. You're not shy. Well, you're used to seeing me up there acting like a wild man, and that's part of what I have to do to get amped up to entertain people. But once I come down, if I'm not in front of a crowd, unless I'm hanging with you, but I can be myself with you. We're stupid, and I'm stupid on here. But if you come out to a show, there's still a difference between this Tino you see here and the Tino that you would see if you came out to a show.
I tend to think that you're a lot closer to this Tino that we see here on the show is very similar to the Tino that we see at those shows now. And while you obviously still have a different atmosphere that you're in and how you have to pertain to the crowd and everything while you're there, I think that when you're here, though, you're still more that guy than when you and I are just sitting there watching wrestling or whatever.
Yeah.
And like you're in the middle here. And you've got your extremes.
So what do the wrestlers always say? That persona or that whatever they are is them turned up to 200%.
Exactly.
That's me on stage. It's still me. I'm a lot more turned up.
Which is funny because so my week.
Your week sucked.
But Monday I went. We did our show, but before we did the show, I went to the dentist, and the dentist set up an appointment to get 2 teeth removed. Tuesday, tomorrow I get my second COVID shot, but Wednesday last week I had to have the 2 teeth removed. So and my face is still kind of swollen right now. I took 2 a leave before this show.
Folks, I've been telling him since he was complaining about it. I'm like, dude, take some pain reliever. And he's like, I want to wait till I can't bear it anymore. I'm like, you're stronger than me, dude. Because if I feel it coming on, I'm like, pop, I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to deal with the pain at all. I'm a big baby. I don't want to deal with the pain at all.
Huh. StreamYard's sitting here telling us that our stream is okay. I guess it's fine now. It was saying it was unstable for a second, so we might have had some connection issues. So, and you're right. Like after WrestleMania night 1, when you were over the house, so I had the 2 teeth removed on Wednesday. I had to leave work early. I went to work on Thursday, mouth fully gauzed up, and I'm still bleeding from it now. It still hasn't fully fixed itself. But it's been weird because I was getting tension headaches before, and now I'm getting the tension headaches still from time to time, and there shouldn't be any tension because.
And I was asking you, is it the pollen? But you said you don't go out, and you go out, and when you do go out in the car, you still wear your mask. You don't think it's any at all?
No, so yes. The pollen probably has something to do with it when I go out and I do something like go shopping or whatever, and yes, that does typically affect it, but I have to assume that it's just the swollen face, like the cheeks, like the jaw right now is swollen. It's weird because how like when you go to pop your ears and you yawn.
Yep.
and then like if you pop them too much and they open wide up and you're like man, that feels awesome, then all of a sudden immediately after you're like, oh, again, and it just puts them right back to where they were. So I'm finding myself constantly yawning even though I'm not tired, and it's because my jaw feels like that point where it's like, I have to pop my ears, I have to pop them, and I can't pop my ears because there's nothing to pop. The ears aren't the problem. So tomorrow I get my first or my second COVID shot, which is going to be great. I've got the day off if I need it. I can go to work if I want to. I'm really worried about Wednesday because everyone keeps telling me that the side effects that you may get typically take place the day after. Now I'm getting my shot at 7:30 in the morning, so I'm hoping all of my side effects are tomorrow. Like
it'll start, but it'll be a few days. Even if you get it tomorrow, you'll start feeling it probably tomorrow evening, and Wednesday, depending on you might be dead. You know what I'm saying? You might be like, oh.
Well, I'm hoping that I can still just go to work.
Well, you can go to work. Because when I had COVID and I was working from home, I mean, I was tired. I was like, so my boss was calling like, all right, I'm gonna take a nap because she said, dude. I'm like, no, because I just started the job in October and I got COVID in December. And so I'm like, she's like, they were real cool. I'm like, look, I'm going to log off here for an hour and a half, catch a nap, come back on. They're like, fine. And so I log off and I nod off and I come back and, So
yeah,
they're forgiving like that.
I've known a couple of people that had no side effects with the second shot. So I'm hoping.
Yeah.
Especially since right now, like, I don't have a fever or anything like that, but I've got the headaches from the jaw, and
I had a question. Can you take the COVID shot since you're taking antibiotics?
I'm not taking antibiotics.
Okay. You didn't take the didn't you say you had Oxy or something? You didn't? No.
Yeah, but that's not an antibiotic. That's an anti-inflammatory and painkiller. Okay. But I literally took 5 milligrams of that all week, so like I took the one after you left Wrestlemania Saturday, and what's funny about that is I took that one and like I was out pretty much until 9 a.m. Sunday.
I remember you because when I got home, I texted you. You're like, okay, going to bed. I just had to laugh. I'm like, dude, no, this kicking in. That's about to kick his tail.
When it kicked in, it was like done. Yeah. And funny thing about it to me is that like normally when we're doing this show, I'm sitting here drinking an alcoholic beverage and like relieving the stress of work and day-to-day world or whatever, because this is fun, but like you still got to have that thing that puts you in like that zone, right? Mm-hmm. So Saturday night you and I had a shot of Basil Hayden's bourbon, and
because you were snoring over
there. But that was the first drink I'd had. I had 2 beers right, the day after or the day of the extraction, because I was like, yeah, my brother-in-law came over, he was watching me play a video game, and I had 2 beers while he was over. But that was like 3 total alcoholic beverages in a week for me, which is quite low, all things considered, and it's funny to me. But so I'm going to go ahead and state now for anybody that is watching, if they're not watching right now, when they do watch, and we'll say it multiple times throughout the show, there's not going to be a show next week because I will be in Disney World. Yeah, so no show next week. We will be back the week after. I believe that's going to be April 26th.
You could do one from Disney.
So you're right. I could.
I wouldn't expect you to. I was teasing, but
no. You're right. I could do one from Disney. The problem is that I can't guarantee that I'm going to be at the hotel at 8:00. I can't guarantee what the internet speed's going to be like, and I can't guarantee that I'd be able to control all this stuff because I'd be doing it from my phone.
No worries.
So we're going to take a week off. It'll be our first week off in I don't know how many weeks. Because we've done the Tuesday shows and everything. It'll be good for both of us. But Saturday, Tino, before I leave, Saturday, I have my first comic book signing in over a year.
Dude, where?
I'm going to be at Dragon's Lair in Fayetteville, North Carolina. It's an hour and a half away, and they want me there at 9 a.m. so that I can be on their YouTube show. And then that day is also one of the guys that works there's 35th birthday party.
Wow.
So myself and Eric Klaus from Ninjas and Robots will both be there for the show. And here, check out these things that I made so that I can help myself sell stuff. Okay.
Oh, here we go. What you got?
So you know me, I like to come prepared.
Hey, what's on your shirt?
I created posters with the different covers on them.
Oh, nice.
So in the COVID world, you can just point to the ones you want, and then I grab them out of the comic box. So I made one for Ex Liefelds.
Nice.
And then I got two different ones for junior high horrors because there's enough junior high horrors books.
Oh, damn, are there that many? There's that many junior high horror books.
Well, each issue had like 3 to 4 covers.
Oh, that's true. That's true. It just amazes me.
So this lets people pick out which ones they want and which covers they want and everything else. So yeah.
Your shirt. What's on your shirt?
Oh, it's Deadpool.
Oh, okay. I saw you when you stood up. I couldn't tell what it was.
Yep. No, this is a Deadpool shirt. I think I bought this one at Target. I liked it because it's a ringer. I like ringer shirts. So, but yeah, so first signing in over a year. I'm pretty excited about it. It's the first time I'm going to be at this comic book shop, but like I said, I'm going to be there with Eric Klaus from Ninjas and Robots, the book that I edit. So we're both going to have some books there to sell. I'm going to bring a sketchbook so that if people want sketches, I can draw sketches. Similar to the Sketch and Sip stuff. It's just, when people ask for it, it'll just zoop, 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 and, pass it on. So I'm pretty excited, man. It's going to be a fun time. Other than that, because of the headache, haven't done any writing or anything, which kind of sucks. Because as soon as I get done work or whatever, I'm just like, okay, I'm either going to play a video game for a little while and just chill out, or I'm going to pass out. So that's pretty much how that went.
Is that game you were playing Saturday? Is that on the PS4 or is that just a Xbox game?
So interestingly enough, it's called Outriders for anybody out there. It's for both systems, but Xbox put it on Game Pass. So as long as you pay for Game Pass Ultimate, you get it for free.
Got it.
And PlayStation, you have to pay $60 for it. It's kind of like Gears of War meets Destiny. So it is pretty cool. I've been playing with my buddy Mark, who I went to high school with, and he actually said he may check out the show tonight because we've been playing all weekend on the game. But sorry, I'm adding another banner because
I forgot to this weekend. You were talking about this Saturday. This Saturday we're throwing. So Nicole's birthday was last Tuesday, but we're throwing her party this week, and that's what I was asking you this past weekend if you were coming, and that's when you laid on you laid out your signing that you're going to.
So what time is the party?
You'll still be in Fayetteville. It's 2 to 6. Wait, no, 3 to 6. Because what time are you done?
I don't know. That's the whole thing. I would assume that I'll be there from probably 10 to 3, 10 to 4. So
yeah, I figured that'd be cool because it's going to be outside. We're renting a shelter, and so I figured it's not here, and you could come because no cat.
Well, I'm on my way back. If I can swing through, I will.
Wait. Joe said y'all started late, so I got here late. Whatever.
I mean, we were on by 8:04.
And it is now
8:22.
And you're just kicking in there, Sketchy. How you doing, Sketchy?
So, Tino, I got 2 topics that I want to talk about before we get to wrestling.
Okay.
And that's it, because I got to be up at 5:30 or 6 in the morning tomorrow to go down to Wake Med.
So are we gonna concentrate on WrestleMania, or you think we could touch on some of the shows from last week? Because
we will go through TakeOver. We will go through WrestleMania. I don't think we need to touch upon the regular shows of SmackDown or anything like that.
AEW.
Joe says he's doing all right, which is great.
Awesome.
But before we talk about wrestling, I know that you watched Falcon and the Winter Soldier episode 4, and
before we start, it's going to be. Go ahead. I was going to say it's going to be some spoilers if you haven't watched it.
Well, hold on. I think I can edit it to say
because I'd watched it. And I watched it. I'm like, dude, Rob, please tell me you saw that. Because remember, what was it episode 2 when they first introduced Captain America? And I was like, that dude's a dick. And you're like, well, he just introduced him, blah, 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 blah. And then this last episode, I said, I told you he's a dick.
Now, do you know who that actor is?
I keep looking at him. Who was that?
That is Wyatt Russell. His parents are Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell.
Dude, he does a lot.
So he is Kate Hudson's brother.
Damn.
And you know what? I thought that when we saw him at the end of episode 2, it was episode 2, right? Or was it episode 1 that they introduced him right at the end?
I think right at the end in episode 2 they dug into him some more.
So when they introduce him and he's got that big nose and in that mask, I'm just laughing because I'm like, that's not my Cap, like Chris Evans just filled out like everything perfectly. Interestingly enough, Wyatt Russell actually tried out for the role of the original Captain America.
I read that.
So
I guess it's too small screen. Also, why couldn't they get the original Cap? You just said his name, Chris Evans. Why couldn't they get Chris Evans? You think you have enough money?
What, for the small screen?
Yeah.
It's Disney Plus. They'll pay whatever. I mean, you can tell that this is probably the most expensive TV show ever made at this point.
So you think he just
so the whole idea is to move on to the next characters. Like Chris Evans has already said, I don't want to play Captain America anymore.
Do you think this new dude to play him in the next movie?
There's rumor that he has signed on for a role in one of the Marvel films, but nobody knows what it is. It could, interestingly enough, actually be Human Torch from the original Fantastic Four movies.
You're talking about the Cap in the show is going to be Human Torch in the Marvel movie?
No. I'm talking about Chris Evans.
That's what I'm saying. The dad, Kurt Russell's son, will be the next Cap in the future movies.
No, so I think that what this whole show, because there's only 2 episodes left, what it's really leading up to is who will take on the mantle. Because if you remember from the very first TV spots that we saw for this show, that you saw where Sam was actually practicing with the Shield. You also saw Bucky practicing with the Shield. Well, what's one thing we haven't seen through the first 4 episodes? We haven't seen either one of them throw the Shield. We've seen Bucky catch it, and we've seen the Wakandan woman sit there and smack it with her foot and catch it like Captain America used to, which is pretty damn cool. Awesome. So like when you see all that, you're like, ooh. Joe said he'll be back. He muted.
Just dropped the banner.
Yeah. He doesn't want to get spoiled on this stuff. So I'm going to drop the spoiler warning as soon as we're done talking about it. But Tino.
Let's do it.
Episode 4 was probably the best Marvel TV show episode done so far.
I'm going to watch it again.
I've watched it twice.
I haven't watched it. I've only watched it once. I got to watch it again.
I watch every episode twice just to see if there's any Easter eggs or little things. And I can tell you that like there is a reckoning coming after what happened. I'm not going to spoil the end, but I will say it was a massive holy shit moment. And it's
the credits started rolling, and I'm still on my couch like, what did I just watch?
Well, that's 2 episodes of this show that have done that. The first episode being when Captain America walks out,
Yeah.
And then the second time now, when Captain America does what he does with one of the Flag Smashers, and the whole episode was just excellent.
Who was the chick? Is that that's not Black Widow? Who the lady that helped them?
Sharon Carter.
Who is that?
So in Winter Soldier the movie.
Okay, I haven't seen that. That might make sense if I go back and watch that.
Okay, so it's the second Captain America film. It's
Right.
my favorite Marvel movie that they've made, by the way.
Okay,
it's that good. She starts out, you think that she's just Captain America's neighbor, and then it turns out that she's an agent for Nick Fury.
Got it. Okay, makes sense.
So now in the show, she was the one in Civil War that got Cap back the shield and got Sam back his wings, and she even makes a joke about it when she sits there and says, "I got you your wings back so that you could stop him from him," and and all of it. And that's why when I started watching this series, I was like, damn, this really feels like it's right in the wheelhouse of Winter Soldier and Civil War, and it's like a direct sequel of just those two movies and not the bigger encompassing Marvel universe, except that it is, obviously, because it all happens after. But like Sharon basically fell from grace. She was a top SHIELD agent. SHIELD got dismantled. She went AWOL to sit there and help Captain America and Falcon, and Falcon got pardoned by beating Thanos and doing that whole thing, but Sharon didn't. So that's why now she's the art broker and art dealer and everything else.
Got it. Okay.
But then you got to see how badass she was in episode 3. But now the question is she the power broker? Because you think about it, like the girl that picked her up in the car at the end of episode 3, where she's like, yeah, we're gonna be in a mess with some stuff. I'll keep you posted. And then she gets in the car and they drive off. Like, you have to think that driver had to kill some assassins too, because all the assassins inside that giant freight area and whatever, like, they're not gonna see that car. You know what I mean? So she had to take care of some business too. Anyways, I thought the episode was excellent. I can't wait for the new episode. I will be watching it Friday very intently, because again, there's only 2 episodes left, so it's got me really, really jacked up about it. And now the question is going to be, how do they redeem John Walker and also finish this story while still extending the overall encompassing cinematic universe, which is just going to be pretty crazy.
What's the next one after Winter Soldier? Have they said Falcon or Winter Soldier? Have they said?
So the next series they're going to do, because this is going to end, I think, around May 4th. Actually, I guess with 2 episodes left, the 26th is going to be the last episode. Yeah. So the 4th, they're gonna start something called Star Wars. It's a Clone Wars cartoon, but it's God, I can't remember what it's called. But I saw the trailer for it earlier today. But it's like clones that just kind of have bad attitudes. So it looks actually really good. And then after that, I think when that series ends, they're gonna go right into Loki. Oh. Yeah, Loki's supposed to start, I think, June 21st.
Thor's brother Loki is getting his own. Are they going to make a Loki movie with just him?
No. They're doing this series with Loki, and like the other main actor in it is Owen Wilson. Wow. Yeah, he works for the Time Bureau, and basically, like, they bring Loki in to fix all the errors that he made by taking the Tesseract from the spot in Endgame. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then, of course, that should lead directly to when Loki ends. I think you get Black Widow in theaters. Cool. So yeah. So all right, we're going to take the banner down. We're going to put up the other banner, Tino's favorite banner of the week. And not really sure which one I want to talk about. So I'll pretty much, you know what? I'll do this one. I worked at GameStop a long time.
Yes.
And at one point in time, all the district managers, so not the store managers, but the district managers were given the Microsoft Kinect. You remember that little sensor that would allow you to sit there and like move and whatever? Well, he was supposed to set it up from time to time and actually take it to different places so they could do demos of it. And I talked my boss into letting me set it up at my store because I had a nice area at the front that was big enough to allow two people to sit there and play the Kinect. And at that point, it was North Hills. It had a countertop that had a TV on it so that the Xbox and everything could be set up right there. And then the Kinect was out so that way people, you know, we could even set up stanchions so you wouldn't get in the way of it. And it was like, I don't know, early May or something. And one night, it was like a Saturday night, I was working with a guy who's now a store manager for GameStop in Minnesota. His name is Chris Corcoran, and we call him Boots because every single shift he wore these massive high like strapped on boots that like I don't even know where he got them. Okay. But he would wear these same boots every single shift. He'd wear the same kind of pants every shift. He'd wear the same gray shirt every shift. Like, but now he's a store manager for GameStop, which is great because I was always like, man, this kid's really good if he would just like apply himself to it, right?
Right.
Well, we're sitting there Saturday night, 6 o'clock at night, and all of a sudden, these really, really well-dressed kids come in. And I mean like evening gowns and tuxedos. Wow. And it's prom weekend. Okay. So these 16, 17, maybe 18-year-old kids, and Tino, I'm going to say this. You've got the one that looks like he's 14 years old, right?
Right.
You've got the next one that looks like he's like 16 years old. And then you've got the one that looks like he's the star athlete on the football team with the acne and everything because well, he's jacked up and juiced, right? Well, same thing with the girls. There's the one that literally looks like she's 23 years old and shouldn't be with these kids. And then there's two other ones. Well, they walk into the store and we're just sitting there like cleaning up, putting stuff away, doing what we're supposed to do towards the end of the night. And they walk in and they notice the Kinect. And we've got Dance Central in the Kinect. So these kids literally start dancing to the game, sitting there like all trying to do like, you know, and Superman and like all these different dances. And we're sitting there, we're like, this is absolutely ridiculous. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, who walks into a GameStop first of all, who walks into a GameStop at like North Hills, which isn't a mall, you know, so they're not eating at the food court or going to one of the real expensive, well, except North Hills does have those really expensive restaurants. So they probably did go to one of the expensive restaurants first. Then they're like, well, what do we do now? Oh, well, let's go over to GameStop. So they walk into GameStop, they start dancing, they start doing everything. Well, before you know it, Chris Corcoran, like I said, Boots, gets into a dance competition with them.
Oh my God.
And he's sitting there dancing against like the one that looks like he's like 25 years old and all jacked up and juiced. And they're sitting there like
that.
Oh man.
Film that. You had to film that.
Well, it was on the Kinect. So as long as that Xbox was at that store, it was filmed. But every year, you know, Facebook does its time loop or time hop or whatever. Well, it now tells me when that happened every year. So there was a picture that was taken with those kids sitting there like all dancing and whatever. And yeah, so
that is awesome. Hey, ho ho.
Hip hop or hop hop. Hey, hop hop. Hippity hippity. Hey, what was up with all those rabbits missing an ear?
We figured it out. I think they were falling off him because we kept
falling off
in the ring. Rob's like, Well, the rabbit's only got one ear, and I didn't notice it. Then we started counting. There's another one. There's another one. Then we looked down.
There's like 5 of them with one ear.
Their ears were in the ring.
Oh, that was good stuff. What's up, Mr. Helios? All right, Tino. I told the GameStop story of the week. We talked about Falcon and Winter Soldier already. We talked about what's going on with us. My mouth is starting to feel a little choppy. So I think it's time. It's time.
It's time. It's Vader. Time. Can I express to you, and I know I did, I think I didn't realize you were asleep when I was it Thursday night that I was so livid texting you?
Tell the story.
So usually I do family time with the family, and then after that's over, I'll go back and watch wrestling shows. So I'm like, I'll do that with NXT. Nicole will go to bed, and NXT, will be over, and I can start watching it. Well, NXT Takeover, I think, ended like 10:35, 10:40. So I'm like, all right. So I went to go Thursday. It didn't. Yeah, it was the first night was on. The first night was on USA.
Right, but it was also on Peacock.
I was watching the second night on Peacock because the USA one I DVR. So the Peacock one. So I'm figuring, okay, it's over. I can go ahead and watch it. No, it kept saying, we'll start again.
Hold on. From there, Tino sits there and sends me a text message.
Oh, I can read them. I probably still got them.
Oh, I'm sure you do.
Oh God, I was so mad. And we're gonna have to say right now,
not safe for work.
Yeah, not safe for work. All right, so it was Thursday at 10:55 because I'm trying to watch NXT Takeover. 10:55. I hate, in all capital letters, that we have to watch WWE on Peacock. All I want to do is watch fucking NXT, but no, I gotta fucking wait. If it was on the fucking network, I'll be watching it right fucking now. And a whole bunch of mad faces. And then Rob goes, LOL, I fell asleep during it because I got a migraine. Missed most of the last 2 matches. I'll watch it tomorrow after work. Me, I don't want to fucking wait. All caps. Piece of shit, Peacock. And then I wrote, I'm a little pissed off right now, smiley face. You said, yeah, it sucks. I said, seriously, though, I won't be at home till 8 on Sunday night, which means I probably have to watch Raw before night till WrestleMania, and that will spoil everything. You can't wind or fast forward when it's live on Peacock. And you say, I see that, and I told you I don't like Peacock. I said, fucking ridiculous. And then finally, it let me watch it. I was like, oh, it's let me watch it now. But that was I was so mad. Because I got spoiled with the network. When it's over, you can go back and watch it. Yep. Or even if it's going on the network, you can rewind it and watch it from when you missed. Not on Peacock, piece of shit.
Now, by Saturday, though, I showed you that if you have it on Apple, that you can actually rewind it now. At least with WrestleMania.
And so what I did was when I got home, because I got home from the youth thing about 8:30, 8:45, I watched it on my iPad until I caught up, and then I watched it on Peacock on the big screen. So
that's what I would have done too. Because I would have been skipping through entrances, and I would have been yeah.
So if you had that, I'd have been pissed, still cussing Peacock.
So all right, Tino. I don't remember really what was night 1 and what was night 2 of NXT Takeover. What I do know is that I feel like I was right about what the best match of the entire week was when I say that it was Tommaso Ciampa versus Walter.
Yes.
If Walter hadn't been made before that match, Walter was made after that match.
And I
And
was so surprised. And we called it. We thought that Ciampa was going to win that match, and I was surprised that they let Walter roll with it.
I think, and I thought about it afterwards, and like I said, I think it's what it was. Hey, here's the introduction of Walter to the main NXT audience. At the same time, it was really done to make him, because they already feel like Ciampa is a made guy, right? At least with NXT. It also felt like this could have been Ciampa's swan song in NXT, because he's gone for everything else.
Didn't you say something about Ciampa didn't want to leave NXT? He wants to stay there. He doesn't want to get called up.
Well, the world's different now. You know, like Ciampa's initial statement as to why he wanted to stay in NXT was because they don't travel as much. There's less bumping on your bump card, you know, from weekly travel and everything else. Because SmackDown and Raw, you know, when they were traveling 4 days a week. It was 4 days on, 3 days off, and sometimes you'd end up doing 2 shows and blah blah blah, right? So he was basically looking at it as, okay, NXT, we travel maybe 2 to 3 days a week instead of 4. So I'm putting less strain on my body by staying in NXT. So I'll retire if you tell me that I have to go to one of the other shows. And, you know, you look at it, Vince did that thing where they started bringing the NXT guys on the shows anyway. And Ciampa was one of the guys that they brought. So it's not like they didn't, that he wasn't willing to go work the shows. It's just, you know, like he would rather. But now Raw and SmackDown are working once a week.
Now, though, but now, like I said, since the crowds are coming back, and we talked about that Saturday, do you think that they're going to start, probably not immediately, but eventually they're going to start traveling and doing house shows again?
I do think that that's true, especially if you watch the Jericho on Broken Skull sessions, because Jericho was asked that question. He said, "Oh yeah, we've already got people back in the stands, you know, but it at some point it'll be back, you know, with herd immunity and everything else, it'll be back. It's just, when's it coming, right?" I don't know. I think that anybody who works for WWE has to feel like they want to do what Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn did at WrestleMania. You know, even if you're not the main event at WrestleMania, you want to have a WrestleMania match. You know what I mean?
And like, on hard for Stand and Deliver, so when we talk about it, I'll have it up.
Well, we don't have to talk about all the matches. I mean, like, you know, the men's tag team match. You were right. MSK won. Good match. Not superb, but good match. It's nice seeing all 3 teams actually have continuity and you know, are able to work with each other and have that like feel for each other. But I mean,
especially with MSK just getting to the brand, you're right. It's nice to see that the short time that they've been there, without having like normally house shows where you get to work with each other, the way they meshed, everybody meshed. It was amazing.
Well, you know, one of the things that's always been said about NXT, which is why people tend to think that their pay-per-views end up being better, is because they get to practice them. You know, whereas when you're on the main card, you get like 30 minutes to talk about your match, but you don't get to practice the match. Whereas with NXT, you're at the Performance Center, you've got 5 rings or whatever. You can all be practicing your matches as they go on. Now, I don't know if that's really the case anymore or not, but you know, it makes sense that would be something. But I thought that they had, like I said, I thought that they worked really well together. I felt that the chemistry between them was good. Interestingly enough, when we were making our predictions for this card last week, I completely forgot that Thick Boy was actually in the 6-man match.
You did?
Yeah, because remember when we were making the predictions, I kept saying, "Man, there's a lot of heels in this match."
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it was like, which heel do I pick, because there's so many heels? But I would have picked Bronson Reed just because it's like, you look at him, and based on everything else, with him being the baby face in that match, I would have thought, hey, this guy's got probably the best opportunity, because Leon Ruff didn't have a chance to win that match, and he was the only other baby face in there.
No, my boy. Dexter Lumis was in it.
Is he a face?
He's not a heel.
You're right.
He might be a tweener.
Yeah, because he kind of goes up against everybody.
I think he's been going up against more heels than anything, though.
Well, he has, but that's because they realize he's getting a crowd reaction, right? So it's similar to when Steve Austin was being told by Brian Pillman. You know, Brian Pillman's like, "Look at you getting the babyface pop." He's like, "Fuck you, I'm not a babyface."
Here's my thing, though. If they would have put that belt on him, I think he needs a mouthpiece.
Which one?
He needs a mouthpiece. Luke Loomis needs a mouthpiece. If they're not going to have him talk, he needs a mouthpiece.
Yeah, I'm worried about them actually finally just going, okay, he's going to have to give an interview, and then when he finally does, like, it ruins the character. Because right now the mystique and mysteriousness of the character is the fact that he's, you know,
they did it with Orange Cassidy too. I mean, for the longest time, then all of a sudden he started talking, and you're like, wait, what?
Well, no. Like this is kind of like Kane, okay?
Or now, Loomis is Kane.
Yeah.
Okay.
When Kane first came out, I mean, remember how long it was before he finally spoke, and when he did, it was, you know, and then.
But he had somebody with him to speak for him.
Oh, absolutely.
That's what I'm saying. They probably.
And if Percy Pringle were alive today, he'd be the perfect manager for Dexter Lumis.
Yeah, but so who do you have now that could be a good manager for him? I mean,
I don't know. I'm not even going to speculate at this moment. Yeah. But anyway, I thought that match, like the 6-man match, was really well done. I liked how they kept their storyline elements going with Swerve and Ruff. Cameron Grimes sitting there paying off Swerve. Now, I don't know if you noticed, that was real money.
Yes, I did notice.
And Wade Barrett all of a sudden goes, "There's like $6,000 out in front of me." Now, Wade Barrett as the heel commentator, though, should have said, "Guys, I'll be right back," and gone to pick up the money.
Yes.
Like, that's what he should have done, and he didn't do it.
Yeah, that would suck it.
And then we got, you know, like, so we got Ciampa basically making roast beef out of Walter's chest.
Oh my God.
Like, and you know that was basically those two guys backstage probably sat there and said, okay, everybody expects me to get chopped. So what if I chop you down, Walter? And Walter's like, you know, the fact that they took his hand away from him, so he couldn't do certain things. But then what was the finish of the match? He hit him with the chop.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't the power bombs. It wasn't, you know, like choke slams or anything. It wasn't any of these big monster. It was a chop, but it was just enough. And I'm going to say right now, Tino, have you ever seen anybody with the gas tank that Tommaso Ciampa has? Because that guy ran back and forth into the ropes like 9 times, dropping a forearm each time. And in each of those moments, did not get gassed. And Walter was like gasping for air.
Well, you got a few people. Like Angle never really got gassed. Balor doesn't get gassed. So you got a few guys with them. There's some big guys that have big gas tanks.
I don't think that any of them go back and forth like that as many times as Ciampa did without like going.
Yeah.
Because he had, I mean, and especially now where these guys really don't run the ropes as often. Like they just don't. They're not in there as often, you know. So crazy. Anyways, the main event of night 1 was the women's championship match. I think I've talked about all the other matches that were on the card. Oh, I didn't talk about Pete Dunne versus Kushida. Pete Dunne versus Kushida, hell of a match.
Yes.
give those guys an honorable mention. But the women's match, Raquel Gonzalez versus Io Shirai. Io comes down with her drunk.
You kill me with that.
And Raquel Gonzalez basically demolishes her. Like it wasn't a squash,
No,
but it was like an extended squash. Like Io got her work in and was able to knock her down a couple times, but like I never really thought Io was going to pull the match off.
well, yeah, but Io is always more. She's jumping off the cage and doing all this fancy stuff. That I don't think she's drunk. You kill me with that. But I wasn't surprised I was surprised to see more wrestling out of this. I thought that Gonzalez was going to rely more on power, but there were some wrestling moves in that.
Yeah, and
didn't fly as much as I thought she was going to fly.
And I absolutely loved. And Raquel Gonzalez easily has the best lariat since JBL.
Oh my God!
Like she turned her completely 360 degrees inside out. Like it was amazing. So night two, we got it. I'll put it this way: Johnny Gargano versus Thick Boy could have main evented any other takeover.
And I was surprised Gargano hung with him like he did. Not Gargano. I'm surprised Thick Boy hung with him like he did.
I mean, and that just shows how good Johnny Gargano is, right? We didn't even we didn't even talk about the ladder match. The ladder match is night one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, was it night two? Okay.
Yeah,
so Johnny Gargano retains, which kind of shocked me. I was kind of expecting Bronson Reed to go over.
Yeah. I was expecting Reed to go over and start a program with LA Knight for that belt because they had a little feud going. That's what I thought was going to happen. But
yeah, interestingly enough, the night two, the interesting thing about night two was it almost felt like everyone you expected to go over didn't.
I expected the women.
Well, we expected Karrion Kross to win.
Yes.
And we kind of expected Kyle O'Reilly to win. But both of those matches, we wouldn't have been disappointed with the opposite outcome.
No.
Now, Jordan Devlin versus Mil Mascaras or whatever his name is.
I was disappointed. It was an excellent match. I thought Devlin was going to go over.
I kind of felt like, as compared to other ladder matches, I'm not going to say I was disappointed, but it felt like something wasn't there.
I think the chemistry wasn't there. The timing was off a little bit to me.
I think it was though. I think it was the fact that nobody cares about the cruiserweight belts, and they tried to make you.
They don't push them like they should. They don't. You're right. Nobody cares about it because they don't push it. They don't showcase that belt like they should. Like they showcase all the other belts. Even in WWE back in the day, the Intercontinental belt was just as big, if not big, as the world belt. And in old NWA WCW, if you had the US strap, you were automatically the number one contender for the world strap. You know what I mean? They need to push these mid-card straps like they used to me, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree. Women's tag team match, Shotzi and Ember.
I knew they were going to win.
That they maintain their spot. Interesting to me that Finn Balor versus Karrion Kross went on second to last.
That's what I thought. I didn't like that. I didn't like that. To me, that title should have been the main event, but
so there's a reason behind it though, and that's because the unsanctioned match is supposed to be the after the show ends,
like lights out and all this other stuff.
Yeah. So like the lights out matches of AEW, this was supposed to be because it's unsanctioned. It goes on after the fact, and they gave them 40 minutes to sit there and work. So you got to see two of the best workers completely do what they do best. At the same time, with Finn and Karrion Kross, you got to see why Finn Balor was the first Universal Champion.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like he showed out, but at the same time, I expect him on Monday Night Raw.
Who, Balor?
Yeah. I think the reintroduction of the WWE Universe to Finn Balor, with him winning that title and then giving it back to Kross, who had never lost the belt, I think that's really all that there is for Finn Balor in NXT. We could say the same about Adam Cole losing to Kyle O'Reilly, but I think that there's still more with the rest of the Undisputed Era falling apart for Adam Cole. So I would like to see him versus Roddy Strong. I would like to see Bobby Fish come back and see where his allegiances lie, you know, that kind of stuff. So I'm okay if Adam Cole sticks around a little bit longer. I don't think that he needs to be called up, especially since unfortunately we don't get the best entrance music in WWE anymore with the Undisputed Era's theme song, due to how they broke them up.
Yeah.
But you know, the good news there is that they didn't pull the Roman Reigns, where Roman gets to keep the theme music when everybody else was also part of the team.
I thought about that last night. I'm like, this would be the perfect time for them to debut new music. Don't. I'm like, nope, they didn't do it.
So anything else you want to say about those two nights?
No, like I said, the match of the night for me, which ended the night, was the Kyle O'Reilly Adam Cole match.
So interestingly enough, I think that for probably the third year in a row, if you had played WrestleMania in reverse and gone to the end of NXT, if you'd played the two NXT nights after you played the two WrestleMania nights, you would have felt better about like the future of WWE.
Yeah.
But with that said,
here we go.
WrestleMania Night 1 started. Interestingly enough, we were talking about how Tom Phillips was not broadcasting.
Did he come back Sunday? I didn't even dawn on me to look.
However, interestingly enough, tonight Monday Night Raw has a new announce team.
They usually do that at the draft. So who's the new announce team?
So somebody you may not know the name of, Adnan Virk.
Never heard of him.
He is a former ESPN play-by-play guy for Major League Baseball, and now he is WWE's play-by-play guy on Monday Night Raw, with Corey Graves as his color guy and Byron Saxton making the three-man booth.
Why?
I don't know, but interestingly enough, Tom Phillips got moved to 205 Live, and apparently is also in charge of talent voiceovers or some weird thing.
I was about to say who did he piss off, but apparently he must have got a promotion.
Yeah, I think he never really wanted to be the play-by-play guy. I think he likes being the producer of the play-by-play people, because he produces the commentary teams for NXT. So when you hear Beth Phoenix talking about how she's improved over the years, she talks about how like she hears Tom Phillips in the headset, not Triple H or somebody else.
There's not Vince anymore.
Well, at NXT it never was, right? So all right.
I got the card pulled up. That's what I was doing. I'm sorry.
Night 1 starts with Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre in the rain for the
We got a rain delay
for the world title. And Tino, you would have thought that they would have given Drew McIntyre his win in front of a crowd after he had to be the MVP for the last year of WWE as the standard bearer with no crowd and the Thunderdome era.
I think they've got a plan. I think they got a plan.
Oh, I do too. I think I think Drew will probably be out of the title picture for a while. I think that they'll probably introduce a new heel for him to go up against tonight, which will start a storyline for him.
I think they're waiting until the shift again, the
draft.
trade, and I think he's going to go against Roman because they kind of teased it a couple months ago.
Well, yeah, obviously with the two of them being champions at the Survivor Series, they did. It's possible. I also think that it's possible that what they plan to do now is basically hold them off of Lashley until at least SummerSlam.
I think they're going to hold that bet on Lashley. I think there's a showdown with him and Brock coming.
Oh, I kind of do too, but that would have to be in front of a crowd. But I will say the next time we may get a crowd might be SummerSlam.
Mm-hmm.
So all things considered there. But for those that didn't hear the ending of that match, Bobby Lashley got Drew to pass out, not tap out, to one of these.
I want to do this. Next, we had Bad Bunny and Damian Priest with The Miz and John Morrison with all the rabbits coming out, and we thought it was Bad Bunny, but then you called it. You said, is this going to be Miz and Morrison? That hey hey ho ho hip hop or whatever they call it, and that's what it was. Doing bad lip syncing. And how can you mess up lip syncing to your own voice?
I think so. Morrison was actually trying to sing.
Yeah.
And
is the operative word.
I will say this. The match was enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys actually worked their ass off. Bad Bunny came showing exactly how much of a fan he really is. He put in the performance, he put in the effort, he took the beating.
At one point, didn't you say he sold his own bump or he sold his own? He did something. And you're like, I think he headbutted or he did something, and he sold it. Like, oh my god!
Yeah, he did a headbutt, and he was like, and the question is whether or not he actually did headbutt him or not. Because if he did, then this totally makes sense.
Yeah, he probably got excited and headbutted for a little too much. We got a little too much into it.
I thought that this was a nice coming out party for Damian Priest.
Yes.
I like the fact that they gave Bad Bunny a nice little commercial for his tour.
That was cool.
For night 2, and it was Triple H saying, "Hey, now that you showed out at WrestleMania, go show out the rest of the world." Blah blah blah, whatever. I thought that was kind of cool.
Who won the match? We didn't tell you who won the match.
Oh, it was Damian Priest and Bad Bunny.
All right, we didn't say who won. We just kept going.
And I mean, the interesting thing was they both hit Priest's finisher, didn't they?
Yes.
So
and I think didn't they?
What's that?
When they hit the double his double finishers, didn't they kick out the first time they did it? Miz and Morrison kicked out.
Yeah, I think they did. Did. So all right, so I would say that Bad Bunny probably became the second best celebrity wrestler that they've ever had in one of these matches behind
Morris Taylor.
No.
Shaquille O'Neal.
Well, mate, no.
Who are you gonna say?
Pat, what's his name? McAfee.
Pat, yeah.
So
next. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Next, we have the New Day against Styles and Omos. Now, not my favorite. What made me pop is they actually had Big E come out and do the whole New Day thing live. You've never seen him do it out. He's always behind the curtain, and then they come out. But he actually came on the stage and did the intro, which I thought was cool. That was an awesome thing to do. To me, that's just little things like that.
Now, what interested me there was the fact that Big E was still wearing his old ring gear.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously the New Day had updated theirs for WrestleMania, and then even on night 2, Big E came down wearing a completely different ring gear. So I guess in the rain he wanted to use one that was a little more waterproof or something. I don't know. Got some comments out there, Tino.
That's what I was looking.
We've got someone named Seven. Not sure who Seven is. Is that the best friend from Blossom?
I haven't. No, that's 6.
Oh, that was 6.
Yeah. Eh.
Are we drained from wrestling? Yes, actually, knowing that it was Monday, Tuesday was the Hall of Fame, Wednesday, Thursday was NXT, Thursday was NXT, Friday was SmackDown, Saturday and Sunday was WrestleMania, Monday is Raw, and Tuesday is NXT again. Yeah, I'm a little wiped out from pro wrestling at that.
You know, I never am though.
What's that?
You know, I never am. I'll watch it if it's on TV. I'm gonna watch it.
So all right, next matchup.
No, almost ringing. No, we didn't. We never went into the match.
Yeah. So you. Oh wait, no. Terrence actually said to me, yeah. Joe McClain says no. It was Dustin's character in WCW was 7.
This is true.
So Terrence said to me in a text message on Sunday morning, he said, "What you think of WrestleMania last night?" And then he goes, "Was it just me or did New Day act like the heels?" And they did. They were running their mouth. They were talking junk. They were doing everything they could to keep Omos out of the ring. And then when Omos got in the ring, he destroyed them. He destroyed them.
Oh
like we now know why Kofi Kingston has no chest because Omos smacked it out of him.
Get out of him.
And
new Raw Tag Team Champions.
Yep.
Which surprised the shit out of me. I wasn't expecting that one.
Well, in dominant fashion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Braun Strowman and Shane McMahon.
Pretty typical. Kind of what you expected.
Shane didn't.
I noted early on that there was sheet metal on the top of the cage so that they could stand up there. Shane broke one off and used it early in the match. But it was a typical Shane McMahon match at WrestleMania. We said that Braun was going to break the cage, and Braun broke the cage. Mm-hmm. Not in the way that we originally thought. I would have still liked the Big Show style, throw him into it, and have Shane actually win the match by falling out, so that way he could continue to say that Braun was stupid.
Nobody went over the cage or do the door. It was actual pinfall.
Yeah, but I think that's because they wore out Braun's leg throughout the match, that kind of stuff. So 7 says that was a pretty cool spot by Braun.
So Braun Strowman wins the match.
Yep.
Cesaro and Seth. Now the move you called it. Well, we'll get to it in the match, but you called it. I thought it was a good match.
You knew going into that match that Seth Rollins not being in the main event was going to show that he was still going to try to steal the show on night 1. And in fact, besides Bad Bunny having as good of a performance as he did and the main event, it probably was the next best match on the card for the night. So, and then as you said, I totally called the finish where Seth goes for the stomp, Cesaro pushes him up and then hits him with the uppercut.
And the spot.
Yeah. Yeah. But I called it because I knew they were going to try to do something special, and show something that they hadn't shown before. Seth doing the corkscrew dive, corkscrew frog splash off the top rope, I thought was solid. I guess the hardest part for me with Seth is that Seth is so good, and I don't like his character, that I don't like seeing him have that good of a match. Like,
But he's doing his job. I hate him that bad.
Yeah, and I don't hate him either. Like when he was at the Hall of Fame wearing his completely like fire outfit that he was wearing, he was funny on the mic. So you want to like him, but then his character is trash.
Yeah.
So the only reason why you hate him is because
he's obnoxious.
He's not given a lot to work with. It's kind of like Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin has been a very solid hand for years, and yet people still hate him. And so it's probably because he's homegrown talent. He immediately came into the WWE and they pushed him to the moon, right? So
to the moon. So Cesaro wins that match. Naomi,
yes, and then he did spin Seth. I think it was still just 22 times. They claimed 23 times.
Yeah. The four-way, the number one contenders match: Lana, Naomi, Dana, Mandy, Riot Squad versus Natalya and Tamina. When Mandy Rose, you knew where I was going with that, didn't you?
Oh, and I've got something to say about it. So go ahead.
How hard did we laugh? Because not only did she fall, but she had that look on her face like, am I falling? And even Rob said, we thought she caught herself. And so she landed flat on her ass and kind of like bounced twice. And I was like, bah!
So on Twitter, after she went back to the back, her first tweet was, my butt hurts.
But she can say, my hole.
She didn't say my hole. This tag team turmoil match or gauntlet match or whatever the hell it was, I liked the outfit that the Riot Squad had, being Joker and Harley. I didn't expect Lana and Naomi to do anything, and they didn't. Carmella and William Kay actually getting the first pinfall in it, with Carmella pushing Billy's back up to keep her in the pin was pretty genius.
I'm trying to do it,
but they got caught trying to do it a second time, like heels do, right? And I think that the right team went over because you could hear it with the audience that they wanted Tamina to win.
Yes.
And I found that interesting because nobody's ever liked Tamina.
I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's what is old is new, because she was good. She had a push before, not a push. The fans were up behind her before, and then they kind of fell off. But yeah, they were cheering for Natty and Tamina, which makes me wonder if they're in for a face run, because as we see the next night, they gave them a run for their money. They gave the tag team champions a run for their money.
Yeah. What was the next match?
That was it for night one.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, we did. We did.
We didn't talk about the main event.
What was the main event?
Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks.
It's not on my thing. You're right. My bad. They didn't list it here. I am so sorry. You're right. You're right. Loved that. I don't know what they didn't. That pisses me off. But that match was awesome. That was a good match. Bianca, towards the end of that match, whipped her hair in the Sasha.
That was right at the end of the match.
Yeah, and I was like, you heard it. I thought maybe it's like I know they couldn't slap their legs. I'm like, she couldn't hear that. Her no, there was a welt. It was bleeding on Sasha's side where she hit her with that hair. I was like, good. But it was a good match.
Yeah, it really was. The two of them showed why on night one they deserved to be the main event. And they did it right. You got the emotional moment. You got I think the right person went over. I'm not quite sure why Sasha looked like she was supposed to be Naomi's little sister. But it was a hell of a match. Like like Sasha knows that while Charlotte's not there and while Becky's not there, that she has to be the one to command the women's division, especially since I don't know why Bayley wasn't on the card, but Bayley wasn't on the card except for messing around with all the Hall of Famers backstage and messing with the hosts.
They got her ass.
Yeah, so.
Which I wanted. And that's a setup for when the Bellas come back.
Maybe, I don't know. So all right, that was night one. Tino.
Night two. I'm trying to.
We got a whole nother night.
What started night two? The Fiend and Randy Orton. This is out of order. I'm trying not to go out of order. So it was the Fiend and Randy Orton started the night. I liked. There's a couple things about. There's a couple things I like about this match. I thought it was cool effect to where they showed the burnt up Fiend, and I guess he was walking down like the breezeway, whatever he's walking down, and it's like and all of a sudden he came back to like the Fiend.
He was under the stage, and they had a whole second stage just for him to get in that box that he came out of.
New.
Did you notice that was a brand new mask for the Fiend too? It definitely conformed more to the face. It didn't leave anything to the imagination. It was definitely like even the ears on the mask are like fake ears to go around his regular ears. It was solid. The entrances, Randy Orton wearing white.
Yeah.
I took that as Randy Orton's the baby face of the match.
But they were cheering the Fiend though.
Well, they always do.
I can't, and that's what is he supposed to be the heel?
The Fiend?
Yes.
Yeah.
Every time his fucking music hits, every time Alexa comes out, they get cheered.
Well, now we don't know who Alexa's with based on how that match ended.
That was my next question. So, what did you think of that?
Cool special effect.
Yeah, I think it was in the crown. I think it was in the crown she was wearing. It's probably a button she had to hit.
Yeah, well, I mean, she was sitting on in that contraption, so I'm sure there was something that was hooked up to her. But why would she help the Fiend lose?
This shows he's in control. Do you think that this is the reincarnation of maybe Sister Abigail? Because there was one promo, and I kind of heard it and I kind of ignored it when she was like, she kind of implied that she was in control, that the Fiend wasn't in control. She was the one that was in control. So do you think, and then when she popped out, or when she was on the box and the music hit and the black goo, whatever came, and the Fiend reached for her, it's like, and Randy Orton had said that she was the Fiend's weakness. So I'm wondering, do you think she intentionally did it? I don't think she's siding with Orton.
So what you're saying is she's supposed to be the Undertaker's urn?
I don't know. Distraction, RKO.
I don't know how the Fiend got pinned in that situation, but nobody kicks out of the RKO apparently. So,
all right, then we had. I'm just going to read them. I'll save the big ones for last. We can do the Nia Jax and we'll do the tag. No, let's do Riddle. You want to do Riddle?
Sure.
Riddle and Sheamus. What'd you think of that?
I thought it was a hard hitting.
Oh, he was
about.
I was trying to see it, and I know that they showed the replays. He did that bro kick at the end. It looked like he missed. I didn't see he kicked him in the mouth. He kind of went like this.
He got him. He got him. Because
I know, but it looked like he missed him.
I mean, he was bleeding.
Yeah, but that was a hard hitting match.
I think it's interesting. I think that the right guy went over here. A lot of people want them to really push Riddle, but I don't think that it hurt Riddle by losing this match. But I think that it was like after Sheamus had done everything that he had done since he was on SmackDown last year, like that parking lot brawl with Big E and everything else. And then the matches that he'd had with Drew just recently, like they had to reward him with something.
Yeah.
And giving him the United States Championship here, I thought was a way to do it.
All right. Oh man. Owens and Zayn did what they do.
They did what they do. It wasn't the best match that the two of them have had. But you will never get a bad match out of those two in that scenario.
No.
The question is, what have you got to work with, and how can you actually extend it to make it the best match the two of you have ever put together? And I think with what was given to them, with Logan Paul sitting in a chair at ringside and not coming into the ring or anything until the end, I think that they did everything they could with a standard wrestling match.
I was wondering how play into that too.
And I even liked how he played into it, where he sat there and he was cheering Kevin Owens at the end. I loved the fact that when Sammy hit the haluva kick in the corner, like Logan Paul fell out at ringside. It was like Charles Robinson selling the move, and the only thing that would make the finish of this match better, because again, I watched the Chris Jericho interview with Steve Austin, and they showed like the end of the Festival of Friendship, and the thing that was missing from that was that Kevin Owens didn't have the stunner at that point, right? But Kevin Owens was the heel in that, so having the stunner probably would have been a bad thing, but it would have been the icing on the cake move after he hands Jericho the list of KO and he goes, "Hey, why is my name on the list?" And then he looks up at the crowd and he's like, and then kick to the stomach, stunner. The thing is that Sammy's not selling he's selling it, but he's not overselling it, which is what you need for that move. That's what made the Rock selling the stunner. That's what made Steve Austin selling the stunner. That's like
Triple H would sell it too.
What's up?
Triple H.
Oh yeah, Triple H would definitely sell it. But I mean like Sammy just kind of like dies from it. Yeah. And I guess that's really what would happen. But you kind of want the bounce off the and he's just not doing that. I loved how Logan Paul actually took it, because he took it like a guy who doesn't wrestle.
and I was about to say, I love the part at the end where he gets in there, he's celebrating, and he's raising Kevin's hand, and Kevin's looking at his arm, looking at his hand, looking at him like holding it, and then he's like looking at his arm, and then he goes, the old Stone Cold, he smiled like he's going to be your friend and stunned him. You
could tell that finish was to really get the audience to see what was going on, because the crowd wasn't really buying the whole Logan Paul lifting up his arm kind of thing, but you really want Kevin Owens to get over as the babyface. This is just like what I was saying about the list of KO, when he's like, what? And then he's like, and then Kevin Owens just demolishes him, right? You get that one moment of here's my arm being raised. I keep looking at it like, why did you touch me?
Yep.
You're not supposed to touch me. Yep. And then it's okay, I'm the good guy. I'm gonna kick, stunner, match over, and you give them a little bit more fire to the Kevin Owens character, who is now basically been gifted the Stone Cold Stunner, right? Okay.
Big E versus Apollo. Do you know who came out at the end of that match, right?
Yeah.
Why did they act like they didn't know who the hell that was?
So hold on. I can answer that.
Because he was on Raw?
Yes.
And not SmackDown, so they didn't know who he was?
So they didn't know who used to be on Raw Underground. Yes.
Because I'm looking at him like, bitch, you know who that is. Why are you pretending like, who's this guy? Oh. You know who the hell that is. It was driving me crazy. But yeah, I can see that. Okay.
But it's because it was a SmackDown match and he was a Raw guy. So that's
So in case people were confused, in the match with Big E and Apollo Crews had someone come out and help him, and it was Dabba-Kato. If you guys remember, the big dude from Raw Underground with the braids, that's who it was.
Yeah, with the almost shaved head, with the braids right down the braid mohawk.
Yeah. What do you think of the match?
Hard hitting. What I liked is that they didn't oversell the gimmick. Like they had drums, they had tables, they had the gong, which, man, like all we got from the gong was him missing and it hitting the ground and going, and I was completely fine with that, except I really wanted one to get smashed over the head with it.
They were smacking the shit out of each other with those kendo sticks.
Yeah.
How? Why? Because that's one of those things that wrestlers say. You just gotta. There's no faking that, and you got to get that sound. And to get that sound, you got to pretty much hit somebody as hard as you can with those sticks. What was that?
He's talking about Dabba-Kato.
Dabba-Kato, yeah. So Apollo Crews goes over with the help of Dabba-Kato to become your new WWE Intercontinental Champion.
Yep.
Down to the final two. Asuka versus Rhea. First of all, Rhea's entrance was badass. With the band and that chick, that was just the chick, the mini Asuka, I mean the mini Rhea, the lead singer. You see, she was dressed up like Rhea, but that whole entrance, and I like the way that Rhea just came down, just confident, like she knew what she was doing, and she's coming down. I don't remember in NXT if she's ever been like had that dark of makeup. You know what I'm saying? Like she had a black lipstick, black eyeliner, so it was almost like she was.
I think they did that at WrestleMania last year too. Like I think that's Vince's take on her character. Okay. But I am going to say that character matched her music. Yes. And Michael Cole even called it out. He said, does anyone's theme music actually represent their character more than Rhea Ripley's brutality? And I don't know if the answer is yes or no, but I do know that I liked it. Yes. Although Big E also had Wale do his entrance music, so in the match that we just talked about, and I thought that they did an awesome job too, because Wale is actually walking them down to the ring and they're just high-fiving each other, or low-fiving each other the whole time, hand slaps, which I thought was great. I also thought it was interesting with Big E that his ring gear looked like the Miami Hurricanes, but it said like feeding the world or something like that on it, which I thought was kind of cool. When we talk about the women's match, you got everything that you expected from Asuka. The only thing that mildly disappointed me about this was because we didn't get Becky Lynch to show up on night one. I kind of expected her to show up on night two after the match happened and have her come out and go.
That's what I was waiting for too, and maybe it'll happen tonight.
Maybe. I mean, I think
it's going to SmackDown because they tend to try to keep couples together.
You're right. Although, again, they're only working one day a week right now. So who knows? And with them being new parents, they might not want to be on the same show because they might want one of them home when the other one's working.
Good point.
So all that said,
I did forget a match though, but go ahead.
I'm even okay with Rhea going over here, yes. Even though she really hadn't had any matches on Raw prior, which kind of takes something away from the championship and what Asuka's been doing with it.
What is she doing with it though? Really?
Well, they haven't been doing anything with Asuka.
Yeah.
But at least she's a credible champion. Yeah. Now you've got a badass champion that hopefully they don't screw up.
Yeah, I think her and Becky will be a good match.
Yes, if they go that route.
So Rhea Ripley wins that. I forgot a championship, and we touched on it earlier.
The tag team championship.
Yeah, we forgot about Nia and Shayna. When Nia and Tamina faced off, you talk about King Kong meets Godzilla, and they went at it. And there was one point where Nia, I think she was really hitting her because she's like, I run this shit. I mean, she was cussing and smacking her and calling her a bitch. I'm like, what the hell is going on? And she looked like you couldn't. It's one of those you can't really tell. Like, is this shoot or work? The way they, you know what I'm saying? The way she was going at her.
Blitzball Champ is in the house. You know who that is.
Yes, I do, because we talked about Oscar, so you know he liked Oscar's grandma, so you know it has to.
He must have heard you talking about her. He must have heard you talking about her. Jason Ingram in the house. What is up, my friend? Oh man, my mouth is hurting.
We're almost done. You can do it.
This 2 hours of talking, man. It's tough. It's tough. With the Nia Shayna thing, having them win the match really makes me wonder, what are they going to do with those tag team titles now?
And that's why I said I think they might give Natty and Tamina another shot.
I mean, maybe.
Really, they're the only ones that have really given them a run for their money. I mean, you putting up smaller girls now. I'm not saying the smaller girls can't do it, but I think it's more believable. Natalya
and Bianca gave them a run for their money too. I think you just have to have two quality opponents for them to go up against.
Who did?
Sasha and Bianca.
Yeah.
You know, at this point, giving Natty and
Mandy Rose and
Dana Brooke.
No. And I don't see maybe the Riot Squad, but I mean, to me, Tamina and Natalya are more believable.
If the Riot Squad were to bring back Sarah Logan, then I could see it. Are they both 0-4 at WrestleMania?
I don't think so. Asuka is.
Well, based on what Jason's saying there, he's saying that neither one has won at WrestleMania, which is probably true. All things.
I think he wants Sasha to break that losing streak, or maybe he wants
he wants Asuka to win
over so she'll break her losing streak.
But
Sasha's 0-6. Damn.
Yeah. See, so one of them would have to would win to, get over the hump. And all that said, and Bianca Belair is 1-0 at WrestleMania, and Rhea Ripley is 1-1 at WrestleMania. What's that tell you? So, Tino, I've only got one other thing. Well, we have one more match to talk about, and then I have one more thing that I want to talk about before we get off of here.
All right. Last match of the night. Roman, Edge, and Daniel. Both of them. I called Edge. Who'd you call?
I don't remember. I think I might have actually said Roman.
Of course you do now. Sunday morning, Monday morning quarterback.
Joe, who did I say last week?
Joe or T. Who did he say last week? I think T said Brian. I said Edge.
Yeah, I don't remember who I said.
It's sketchy.
I don't remember who I said. Interestingly enough, though,
I didn't like the ending.
What didn't you like about it?
Roman still has the belt. I think that he'd be right now, I think he's strong enough not to have that, but I think he'll be even stronger as that strong heel in chase mode.
I think what's interesting now is I any way I can contribute. I think what's interesting now about the WrestleMania main event is where they take it. You know, does Daniel Bryan disappear for a while because he lost his last WrestleMania? Does Edge actually start a new feud with somebody else like Cesaro? Does
somebody needs to be out for a while because who got the, I think Bryan get the concerto, the one-man concerto, or did he hit? And then
I thought he hit both of them with it.
No, he hit Bryan, and he was going to hit Edge, and then Jay came in. But I think he got a one-man concerto from Roman though after the spear.
Right, and then Roman pinned both of them.
Yeah.
So I think that was a definitive. These two guys don't get to go up against me again.
So who do they have left now?
Well, see, that's where it gets interesting.
Bring Ciampa up.
I don't like when somebody comes right in and goes for the world title. If you're going to do that, do it with Finn Balor, because Finn actually beat Roman back when he went for the Universal Championship the first time.
So who do you think can go against Roman? Because we know they're not going to let damn Owens get it.
No, they're not going to let Owens get it. I think that now would be the perfect time to start pushing Cesaro.
Cesaro or Big E?
Big E is still going to have another match against Apollo. And what I want to see happen is this. I want to see them do like a 4-man elimination match to determine the number 1 contender on SmackDown. And I don't care who wins it. It could be Sami Zayn sneaking out with the win and going against Roman and getting squashed. I don't care. What I want them to do is I want them to start building towards Money in the Bank. And at Money in the Bank, I want someone like Cesaro to grab that case, right? Because Cesaro with that briefcase would be a character that at any moment's notice, he's going to put you through the ringer, right? So you already know you're going to get a 30-minute match out of Cesaro day in, day out, night in, night out. But knowing that he could come down after you just went through the ringer already, it's time to give Cesaro his time. Maybe, but I would like to see them not just show Cesaro do this, but now make sure Cesaro actually, do this. Hell, let Nakamura win the elimination challenge and go up against Roman, because him versus Roman would be a hell of a match. Do I expect him to win? No, but I would be very, very happy with that. I'd be pleased with at least longer term booking. I mean, you want to go ahead and put Big E towards it, sure, but right now Big E just lost a match, so it's not going to help Big E to go up against Roman right now. You got to rebuild Big E so that Big E can be the guy that everybody goes, wow, this guy really actually has a chance to go against him. Whereas Cesaro is, like Joe says, Cesaro's legit, and I would like to see Cesaro actually give him a run for his money. I would like to see them do that. One of my favorite things that they do in pro wrestling from time to time, Tino, is when they fake you into thinking that someone just won the title, and then they take it away from them. And if you want to see how the crowd reacts to Cesaro winning a championship, you sit there and put 200 people in the crowd. They'd all have signs that say Cesaro section already, right? Mm-hmm. But you give him that win over Roman, and then Roman sits there and holds Adam Pearce hostage until Adam Pearce says, we've got to reverse it because it was a fast count or whatever. Just wait until you hear the boos when Cesaro's got to give that belt back.
Yeah.
You know, I love that kind of storytelling. And in fact, I'm glad that they don't overuse it or abuse it. You know, it's one where I think the last time we saw it was when Dean Ambrose walked out with the world championship, and you weren't over my house that night, so I sent you a picture of it. You're like, no, the fuck he didn't. And I was like, no, he really didn't. But you know, he stole the belt.
Yeah.
You know, I'd be okay with Kevin Owens walking back into a championship match against Roman, even though we saw it 5 months in a row without the right guy going over it all, right? But I don't know. It'll be interesting. You know, do they have anybody that, like, they could finally do Goldberg versus Roman if they wanted to, but Goldberg's lost his last 2 matches.
Yeah. We'll see. So what else you got? You said you one more thing. I'm gonna let you go. So you gotta get up early. And then you'll draw. I haven't watched it yet.
What?
I haven't watched it yet.
So,
I mean, I don't care if you talk about it. I'll go back and watch it anyway, but I haven't watched it yet.
It's 2 hours and 7 minutes long. In the first 5 minutes, I believe the term AEW is mentioned 3 times.
Surprised Vince let that fly.
Oh, it's really interesting. I mean, most of it is a retrospective on his career, but they talk about the one thing that really, really upset Jericho with WWE, and that was being told, hey, you're going from main event at WrestleMania against Kevin Owens to second match on the card. And they talked about it. And you could tell that Jericho was still upset about it. You know, but they talk about his history throughout WCW. Like, interestingly enough, I didn't realize this. He was only in WCW for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
He was with WWE for 19 years.
Mm-hmm.
Like think about that. And when he came into WWE, like, anybody who hasn't watched it yet, but if you've read his books, you already know this. The people backstage hated him. Mm-hmm. And even his first promo where he called everybody jabronis and called everybody like you know, amateurs, like the guy in the ring, he was talking about The Rock, you know, like they hated him because of that first promo, not realizing that Vince Russo actually scripted that promo for him. You know, like there's a lot of stuff there that really makes you look at the character of Chris Jericho and you know, yeah, Jason even says 3 years, he wouldn't have guessed it. It's surprising because, you know, he's been around over 30 years, and in that time, you know, 3 years of it was with WCW, and all that time he was trying to get to WWE. Like, because and this goes back to, like, me being a northerner, you being a southerner. You were more of a WCW watcher. I was more of a WWE watcher.
I watched both, but, you know.
When I moved down here, I started watching both, obviously. But when I was a kid,
yeah,
I was watching WWE.
I was watching NWA then at the time.
Yeah. So Jericho even talks about that, where he's like, when he was growing up, like, they had the NWA come through Calgary like twice. So because of that, he always wanted to be the Intercontinental Champion for WWF. You know, and talking about that and everything else. But it's a 2 hour and 7 minute interview with Stone Cold Steve Austin. It is probably, besides the Undertaker one, it may be the best one he's done. So I won't ruin it for anybody. The nice thing about it is, because it's an interview, if you're working at home, you can just have it on in the background and listen to it.
I work from home tomorrow, so I might check it out.
So, but with that, Tino, tonight.
Man, we actually kept it under 2 hours.
Tonight am done.
All right. Well, as always, folks, we want to say thank you for tuning in with us tonight. You check that fool out on the Twitter machine. He is at Potcheck. I am HootieFan91. You can check me out on Instagram at SCTino. He is Rob Potcheck. On Facebook, we are the Potsy and Tino Show. Twitter, you can check us out. The Potsy and Tino. We're Potsy and Tino Show on Facebook, Potsy and Tino on Twitter. You're watching it right now on YouTube. Please make sure you subscribe to this channel and check us out every week except next week. Next week we will not be here, folks, because Rob is being he gets to go to Disney like a big baby. No, that's cool. He gets to go to Disney. We want to say thank you to, as always, to Adam's House Cat for our theme song, the wrestling song, which you can find on iTunes at 99 cents. And as always,
get vaccinated.
Get vaccinated. I had my second shot last Wednesday, so
I get mine 7:30 tomorrow morning.
All right. So until 2 weeks from now, folks, we want to say we hear Ric Flair in Charlotte on that big house in the hill, and he is saying, "Woo." Good night, folks.
Good night, everybody.